got big news.
Tell me.
About time.
Now, where are we with Power in 2025, 2026, and beyond? It's been a while since we've done a Power Universe update. I think my last one was at the start of the year, and I did actually make one during the 1 week break for Raising Kanan, which in the end, I binned. I recorded some waffle where I thought there weren't any kind of real updates, so I weren't going to waste your time. However, over the past 48 hours, there has been a lot of new things that have dropped around the world of Power. Teaser scenes for 4 Season 3, Raising Kanan Season 5, but also quotes from Jeffrey Hirsch talking about new Power spin-offs, expanding the Power universe, and what could be coming next in the world of Power. Because as they say, Power never ends. They've teased that slogan now over the years since the original Power show came to an end, back in 2020, and they've been teasing it ever since. So, as I said in my Power Universe update on January the 1st, expect a big shift in the world of Power as we enter a new era and a new phase. That's the topic of this breakdown. We're first going to break down this teaser for 4 Season 3, and also Raising Kanan Season 5. The next chapter will then focus on quotes from the CEO of Stars talking about the Power universe, and teasing what's next, and I will run through the exact quote. We're then going to round off with some general thoughts around what they could bring into the world of Power, and when we can expect these announcements. That's the structure, the chapters will be down below. So let's get into the world of Power, and why Power will never end.
Yo, what's up everybody? It's your boy Joseph Sikora, here back in New York City to announce to you that the rumors are true. Power Book 4, Force, is dropping this fall.
Now this fall, what we have confirmed is 4 Season 3, and Joseph Sikora did give us that announcement not too long ago. They released the first 2 look images, but this is our first real look at 4 Season 3 in terms of a teaser. We've got Diamond and Tommy with an explosion in the background, because that's what Force will promise to bring in Season 3, a lot of explosive action, as well as good storytelling. I think one thing Gary Lennon has done really well for Force is bringing it back to the roots of Power. But we've got classic Tommy Egan in action. He's got his hood up in one of the scenes, and we've also got him saying never bet against me, because he's always winning, and he definitely is right. Never bet against Tommy Egan. A lot of people have tried, and a lot of people have failed. We've also got Diamond putting Vic Flynn's face in some water, although I do personally think it may just be a scare tactic. I don't think they're going to kill off Vic just yet, and I don't think they'd put that in a teaser either. Power have been getting very clever and creative recently with their teasers and trailers, and we only have to look at the teaser for episode 10 for season 4 of Raising Kanan, and I do think it is something we do need to bear in mind whenever we break down some of these scenes. But Vic Flynn, he is someone who might just be on my death predictions come for season 3. There'll be a lot of time to dig into some of these predictions and storylines come this summer, so definitely looking forward to shifting my focus over to 4 Season 3 in a couple of weeks.
I got big news.
Now there is also a scene with Tommy and Maria, where he says he's got some big news, and I'm not exactly sure why they put this particular scene in, because one of the big plot points they left us with towards the end of Season 2 was Maria being taken by Miguel, but I still think we're going to be in for a lot of surprises. So in terms of Force as a whole, we know it is the final season, the final chapter of Tommy Egan's journey in Chicago, but it's not going to be the end of Tommy Egan as a character on Power. There is at least one more chapter left, and we will come back around to that in just a moment, how and why Tariq St. Patrick could potentially play a part. Now in terms of Raising Kanan Season 5, they have announced that it is coming in 2026. They've not announced whether it is the final season as of yet. I personally think it will be, but that's just my opinion. I could be wrong and they could shock us with a Season 6. So there's no real announcement in terms of whether it is or isn't the final season. I'm sure that announcement will come with the teaser or potentially the trailer when we do get closer to Season 5. But we've got a couple of scenes with Kanan and Jukebox. There's no scenes with any other characters, which I guess is a good thing, because if they had any scenes with, say, Marvin, Lou, Unique, or any other characters, then I guess it would spoil the end for Season 4, because then you'd know they survive. I think most of these characters will survive anyway. I've already given some of my death predictions and how I think the Thomases will make it to Season 5 anyway, but I'm glad they've not put any other scenes in here apart from Kanan and Duke. But these are the scenes they've dropped for Season 5. Kanan looking real menacing. You've got him with his crew, shaking hands with someone at a diner, and also Jukebox in tears. It's been a very long time since we've seen this Jukebox. We know how tough she's become over the course of Seasons 1 to 4, especially in Season 4. We've seen her get her first kill. There's been a real change in her character and her demeanour. It's been brewing for a very long time. They've set the foundation, but something is going to be breaking her again in Season 5. But with that being said, let's talk about Jeffrey Hirsch's latest comments with what could be coming next in the world of Power. Now, recently Jeffrey Hirsch has been doing a couple of interviews, and he was asked about the future of the Power franchise. What does it look like? He was specifically asked, do you have any more spin-offs in the works? So I'm just going to read you the quote word for those who are probably driving, doing their house chores, on their walk, and for those who don't have their eyes glued to the screen. Word for word, the quote reads, Power is a great universe. We've kind of created this concept that the Power universe never ends, and it will never end. There are so many stories to come out of the original Power show. We've got Raising Kanan on the air at this moment. We've got 4 Switches coming back. We just ended Ghost. We've announced another spin-off called Origins, which is the origin story of the original Power, and that's exciting because you start to learn the backstory of the original cast, and how they got into the game, and how Kanan's character went to jail, and why. So you've got the original cast at a younger age meeting, and really developing into what you saw on Power, and I think that's a really exciting show for us, and it's something we've wanted to do for a long time. And then we have another one that we haven't announced that really is exciting, and so we'll announce that soon. But there's also 2 more stories coming, at least, and there may be more. So the franchise will continue to grow. Lionsgate and Starz are really committed to making sure that each one of these stories are unique to themselves, but fit within the universe, so the fanbase will continue to be excited with new, fresh stories, but within the same foundational stories that they've grown to love over the years. So, that's what Jeffrey Hirsch said when he was questioned about new Power spin-offs being in the works. Confirmed, we have Power Origins. We know that's going to be heavily focused on Ghost and Tommy's origin story. Sasha Penn is going to be the showrunner for Power Origins, and we know he pays attention to a lot of the detail that went into Power, all of the conversations, and it is interesting that he says how and why Kanan went to jail. It makes me think there may be a bit of a time jump, and we may be getting a Tommy and Ghost already in the game, a bit older. But confirmed, we have Power Origins. Next up, he said they've already got an exciting spin-off to announce soon, and I do think this is one which will most likely centre around Tommy or Tariq, or maybe even both of them together. We all saw the after-end credit scene post-Ghost Season 4, and they're definitely cooking something up with Tariq St. Patrick's character, that's for sure. A while ago, Michael Rainey Jr. also posted a cryptic post on his Instagram, where he was at the Lionsgate office. That's when all the news was being announced around Ghost cancellation and so on. I do think that exciting spin-off will most likely be around Tommy or Tariq, or maybe even both. I've previously gone through the storyline of the Italians, how there's such a rich history here between Tommy and the Italians, how the common party between Tommy and Tariq is Joe Proctor, Elisa Marie Proctor, Carlo Civello and the Civello mob. I personally would love an Italian-themed Power where they really dive into the mob, and where Tommy and Tariq have no choice but to come together to fight a common threat. But that's the new exciting spin-off I do think they have planned. In terms of the official announcement, I personally don't think it's going to be anytime soon. I think they probably don't want to spoil the end of Force Season 3, especially if Tariq is crossing over towards the end. But come the end of Force, that's when I think we're probably going to get a lot of announcements. So I do think it's probably going to be a while before it gets up and running. You're probably talking next year or at least, once Force comes to an end. And after they've shown us how his chapter ends in Chicago, did he call Tariq, and where's he off to next? So that's the new exciting spin-off I think they have planned next. Now, this is where the fun really begins, because he's also mentioned there are 2 further spin-offs coming, and potentially even more. And we know the Power universe is just getting started. He teased that Power will never end. There's so much more to come. So many stories they can tap into from the world of Power. They've created this universe where they can literally do anything. So what could those 2 further Power spin-offs be? Now, I always like to keep it real, and the honest answer is, I have no idea. But what we definitely do know is, reading between the lines, it will be connected to the original show. They can take any kind of plot point, just a conversation or a sentence that characters mentioned, and run with a completely brand new story, backstory, prequel, or a new show. We've seen what they did by tying Mecha to Felipe Lobos in Power Book 2 Ghost. He was the one who snitched on Felipe Lobos, which is why his Miami operation went to shit. That meant he had to force more product on Ghost and Tommy in Season 1 of Power, hence why the Eastern District set up this task force. I would have loved to have learned more about Mecha for sure. I do think he was a missed opportunity. But let's see what they spring up next. Could we learn more about Julio? He's a character who was said to have a lot of connections, also some are in Miami. We also heard him being mentioned in Force a couple of times. He's also a Power fan favourite. During the last Power Off season, I did create a whole video of how they could run with a Julio spin-off. Although again, I really wasn't happy with the video, so I did kind of bin it in the end. But I definitely will come back to it this summer. A while ago I also raised the idea of Power doing something very similar to what other universes have done. Not every character needs an entire series. Other universes, after the original show has come to an end, have had a series where individual episodes run through a particular character and their backstory. For certain characters, I guess you don't need a couple of seasons, maybe you just need an episode or 2. We also know they had the idea of Influence with Rashad Tate, which in the end was cancelled. It was supposed to be a Power spin-off with a political spin, his rise to power in the political world, and I do think as time has gone on, a lot of Power fans have warmed to the idea of that particular spin-off. I think it would be great because it's different to what we've seen before, and Lorenz Tate is definitely a great actor who can carry a show. That's one which I personally hope they can revive. But in reality, they can literally take anything from Power because of how much material there actually is. It really is exciting times because, as I mentioned in my January Power Universe update, we are entering a new phase, a new era, and come the end of 2025, they've said they've got 2 more in the works as a minimum. I wouldn't be surprised to see another Power Universe teaser confirming 2 more spin-offs, if not more, because as they say, power never ends. So that's where we are with the Power Universe as we head into the next phase and a new era. I think we're going to have to be very patient for the announcements to come. I'm sure there will be a lot of work that still needs to be done in the background, ironing out all the details, casting, writing, whatever else goes on in the background. I'm sure it's a very complicated process, so we definitely will have to be patient. But at some point in the near future, they definitely will be announcing a couple of new spin-offs tied to Power. With that being said, the floor is now yours. Let me know what you think of the first look for 4 Season 3 and Raising Kanan Season 5, and also what you think is next in the world of Power. Drop all your thoughts down below in the comment section, and as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.